Subscribe to Teckoh on YouTube or you will forever be a bot at Fortnite.
What is up everyone, welcome back to another video. So if you're watching this video, chances are you're either someone who just got kovaaks and wants to improve their aim, or somebody who has it and just wants to see faster improvement in their aim. No matter which of these you are, in today's video I'll be giving you all of the information that you're gonna need to start getting higher scores in kovaaks and start improving your aim dramatically in Fortnite as a result. And one more thing before we start, guys, I'd just like to let you all know that I'm gonna start posting on both Instagram and TikTok, where I'll be putting up even more tips and tricks content on top of what I do on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check them out. The TikTok is at TeckohYT and the Instagram is at Teckoh, or you can find them both in the description as well. And with that said, let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to do in this video is give you guys a bit more knowledge regarding aim. This section is important because it's going to give you a lot of information that will help you improve even faster during your practice. The first thing you're going to want to keep in mind when you're doing aim training is to focus on accuracy above speed at all times. We're quite obviously trying to improve our aim and improve our accuracy by using kovaaks, so trying to go super fast just to break your score is not really something that you're going to want to do until later on in your training. So when you're doing the scenarios, which I'll be going over soon, try to focus on hitting your shots and being accurate instead of trying to go too fast, and that should help you improve much faster so you can start focusing on speed later on down the road. Second, another thing that I recommend doing for your aim training is practicing on a variety of sensitivities. The reason for this is that different levels of sensitivity are going to help you practice different things. For example, making your sensitivity lower is going to make you have to move your mouse further, which in turn will help you improve your large angle shots and make you more comfortable with fast building and editing. On the other hand, practicing a higher sensitivity is going to help you become more precise and will help you improve your mouse control as well. So overall, practicing on both higher and lower sensitivities alongside your normal sensitivity should be very beneficial. Obviously, I recommend prioritizing your normal sensitivity in your practice, but if you'd like to hone in on a specific skill or just want to mix up your training, then feel free to try some other ones out as well. Finally, the last thing I want to mention when it comes to your aim training is using other methods of aim training to supplement your kovaaks practice. Giving yourself multiple forms of practice allows you to vary up your training, and multiple forms of practice essentially helps you improve your aim much faster than just using kovaaks alone. A few things you can do include aim duels in creative, which you can do using Raider's map. I'll put the code up to that on screen right now. Or you can do a map like KovaaK's aim trainer in game, which is similar to kovaaks, but it's in an in-game environment instead of in a third-party app. I'll put that code up on screen right now as well if you want to try it out. But with that said, now that we've gone over some of the information and strategies you can use to speed up your improvement, let's get into the actual routine itself. To start off our routine, we're going to be doing some tracking work on a few different scenarios. And with that said, the first scenario we'll be doing for tracking is going to be close, long strafes, Invincible. This scenario is great for close range SMG aim and has some carryover to ARs as well. When you play this scenario, what I recommend doing is trying to hold your mouse down the entire time and just stay on the target as much as possible. That way you can not only track your improvement very closely, and you'll also get great practice in terms of direction switching as well as the actual tracking practice. Second up in our tracking routine, we'll be doing the map called Thin Aiming Long. This map is pretty much all based on precision, with a very thin target moving at a consistent pace. Your biggest concern here should be trying to hit the target consistently and being smooth while doing so. This scenario is actually surprisingly difficult for most players, simply because most of us don't have that level of precision, but it does have incredible carryover to your AR aim in Fortnite and can really make a massive difference in your gameplay. Moving on to our third tracking scenario, and we've got the scenario simply named Air. Honestly, if I were to have you do one single scenario for your entire time on kovaaks, it would be Air, because this scenario is simply so useful and has so much carryover to Fortnite. The Air scenario has incredible carryover to both your SMG aim and your AR aim, allowing you to practice different movement patterns that your opponent might take, and it works incredibly well for both close range and mid range. This is a very well-rounded scenario, and I definitely recommend including this in your practice routine, pretty much regardless of your skill level, whether you're brand new to kovaaks or if you're experienced as well. Finally, our last tracking scenario for this kovaaks routine is going to be Fugla XY Long Strafes. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This scenario includes a target that's pretty difficult to hit, meaning it's good for practicing your precision, and it also has a fair amount of vertical movement as well, which helps in pretty much any situation where you have another player in the air or above you. Overall, this is another very useful scenario to toss into your routine as well. But anyway guys, moving on from that, next up I'll be showing you guys some click timing scenarios, which are great for your shotgun aim and for pretty much anything that involves first shot accuracy. To start off our click timing section, the first scenario we'll be doing is Tile Frenzy 180. This scenario is a pretty simple concept. It's just like a normal Tile Frenzy scenario, but with a 180 degree area instead of 90, meaning it helps with flick shots and gets you comfortable shooting at wider angles in game. Second up in our click timing section, we'll be doing a pretty difficult scenario that's known as 1 wall 5 targets pasu. This scenario involves much smaller targets, which means it helps more with precision, and it also helps with your prediction skills pertaining to click timing, as the targets move in generally unpredictable patterns. So overall, this is another great and pretty unique scenario to include in your routine. Third up for our click timing scenarios is going to be one called Bounce 180. Similar to the 1 wall 5 targets pasu scenario, this involves a lot of prediction and really requires you to be smart about how and where you shoot. Bounce 180 is such a great scenario and it's extremely beneficial for Fortnite. And another option you have that's worth mentioning, if you feel like it's a bit too difficult to do Bounce 180 normally, you can do the scenario Bounce 180 large instead to make it slightly easier. The Bounce 180 large scenario essentially has larger targets, making them easier to hit, and you can use that to work your way up into the normal Bounce 180 scenario later on. Finally guys, the last form of aim is known as target switching. Target switching basically refers to flicking to and tracking a target. The best way I can really explain it is a mix of both tracking and click timing. Your goal in target switching scenarios is to flick to each target as fast as possible, track it to take it out, and then flick to another all as fast as you can really go. So the first target switching scenario I recommend is pat target switch. This is really the basic target switching scenario, and it's one that most players are going to be best off with as a starting point. From there, you can also use the scenario Bounce 180 tracking, which is similar to the other Bounce 180 scenario, except it's a target switching style instead of click timing. So this does add quite a bit of value to the basic version of this scenario. But overall guys, those scenarios are going to wrap it up for this KovaaK's routine. Overall, in this routine there are 4 tracking scenarios, 3 click timing scenarios, and 2 target switching, which obviously makes 9 total. Honestly, you guys can really choose whether you want to do each scenario for 5 minutes, which would make the whole thing 45 minutes, or maybe just do 1 scenario in each category per day, or even just 1 run of each scenario. Feel free to structure it really however you want and adjust it as you see fit. But with that said guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'd also like to give a huge shout out to the aim coach named Aimer7. A lot of this routine was inspired by his guides, so feel free to check out his stuff as well. I'll toss a link to his Twitter down in the description. If you enjoyed this video and plan on using this routine in the future, then I'd appreciate it a lot if you could drop a like on the video and subscribe if you'd like to see more content just like this in the future. But anyway guys, have an amazing day and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.